You're tuned into SEC Sunday Night, part of the Chief Sports Network.
All right, grab a drink and grab a snack. Welcome to SEC Sunday Night live on the Chief Sports Network and proudly brought to you by Hewitt Domaduros Law, HD Law, SC.com. Brad and Dean are the best in the business. They have won millions and millions, and so we would love for you to give them a call if you need them, if you have a personal injury, or if you have an insurance claim, if you have a dog bite, if you fail, whatever the case is, these guys are where you need to go. Make sure you call HD Law SC, Hewitt Domaduros Law, HDLawSC.com. This is SEC Sunday Night, and I am Rob Williams.
Uh-oh. Rob, are you there? I think Rob is frozen. So that means it's my show. And I guess it's a good thing that I'm here because I was not supposed to be here tonight. The wifey and I were supposed to be on a double date, but it got canceled. So I am here now. So looks like Rob's doing his best Joy impression right now. But we want to kick off the weekend by talking about some of the biggest stories. Rob was going to kick around here and he was going to say, hey, let's take a look at the big scores. He was going to go in 60 seconds. So let's synchronize our watches and kick on the biggest scores of the weekend. LSU took care of Southeast Louisiana 56-10. Miami beat Florida. I know nobody was shocked by that one, 26-7. Arch came back in full force with Texas, 55-0 over Sam Houston. Oklahoma took care of Auburn, 24-17. Ole Miss, mea culpa IA. I know that in last word this week I had picked Tulane to win. Well, Ole Miss came in strong, 45-10 over Tulane. Tennessee knocked off UAB, 56-24. Vanderbilt, what did you do to my Georgia State Panthers, a proud Panther alum? Vanderbilt all over Georgia State, 70-21. Mizzou knocked off the Gamecocks 29-21 or 29-20. Memphis came back from 18 down to knock off Arkansas 32-31. And get out your cowbells, everybody. Mississippi State is 4-0 for the first time since 2014, knocking off Northern Illinois 38-10. Now, that was a joyous weekend, I guess, unless you were in Fayetteville or Gainesville. I'm sure that was rather frustrating. Rob and I are going to talk about that in just a little bit, whether or not Napier and Pittman are both going to be in the coaching carousel, or possibly maybe we'll be from the both. But we wanted to get started before we bring in Joy and her SEC Pretty as she hit up Notre Dame. We want to talk about, who were the most impressive wins of the weekend. And though my boy Arch here was impressive and did a good job. Oh, he's back, folks. Rob, we've kicked it around. We went 60 seconds. I think I was 58 seconds, so I think we've got you.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to SEC Sunday Night. What did I miss? Just the hostess with the mostest here.
Hey, you know what? What I told the people is I said, it is a good thing I did not go on my double date as I was planned on for, because who knows what would have happened.
Well, let me say this, because who knows what's going on. So let's get this one out for everybody to hear, okay? First of all, happy birthday to my oldest daughter, Davis. She turns 4 years old today. Super excited to give her a big birthday shout out. Happy birthday, Davis. We
Happy
love you, and
birthday,
we're so
Davis.
super proud of you for all that you do. Craig, I'm gonna let you. I'm gonna let you keep running with it here as we go through. Actually, let me do this really quickly. Let's talk about scores really fast. Okay, I just want to give a
Already
quick
did them.
update.
Already did it, bro. We already
Whoa!
went. I went through it. Where were you?
All right,
You were
that's
caught in the vortex, bro.
that's a great question. I love to see people in the chat over there. We've got Caleb Grant Long coming in, wanting to know if we're walking back the 6 and
Calm
6
down,
record on
Caleb.
Mizzou.
Calm
We're gonna get
down.
to Mizzou here in just a moment. Craig, first of all, let's talk about the most shocking results from yesterday. Of all of the games, have you mentioned yet who is most shocking for you?
I have not. I was just about to get there, my friend, and then you came back. Most shocking. Sorry, Caleb. We're not going to talk about the Tigers yet. Go fix your stadium. We are going to start with the Oklahoma Sooners. Now, I'm not going to get into the fake. Listen, I love the little trickery there by Mr. Arbuckle. That was one of my key plays coming out of a timeout, maybe talking to a midfielder. Is he off the field? Is he on the field? It's called gamesmanship. And let's be honest, he told you what he thought of it. He thought he was number one after that play. But to me, Oklahoma was most impressive on the weekend. Um, that was a closer game than I thought. I know that we had talked about that. Who did before I get too far into it? Who did you have in the Oklahoma Auburn game? Just to check.
I'm gonna dial back because in just a moment we're gonna have our check in with Joy on the SEC Pretty Campus tour. She was in South Bend heading into week 4, and we only picked one game. We kind of did a season overview a little bit, so you guys will get to see kind of what our takes are on most impressive quarterback play and some other things there. But the one game that we picked, Craig, was the Oklahoma Auburn game, and so I'll save my um, prediction, whether I was right or wrong, when we come back from the SEC Pretty segment here in a few moments. Then I will let you know if I was right or wrong about who was going to win that game. But you continue with the fact that Oklahoma was the most shocking for you, even though I'll spoil it. You did pick them.
I did. So I did. And this is the part where, Caleb's talking about, the record predictions. I was very much down on Brent Venerables, and I was also questioning whether or not John Mateer was the guy. And I think this weekend showed that he was. Sure, he didn't look great all of the time, but I think when it mattered most, that's where Mateer really went in. If you look at the game winning touch, basically the touchdown that put them up for good, Mateer does a great read. He looks at the box. He's only got two Auburn defenders right there. He's got it matched up, and he's able to find his way into the end zone. He's able to make plays. And if I contrast that with the Auburn quarterback, Jackson Arnold, Hugh Freeze has a quarterback that can run, but he is still looking for a quarterback that can throw. Arnold was sacked in Oklahoma record 10 times. The one that put the exclamation point on there was the safety, but just holding the ball just way too long. And sure, he hit some big plays, but I'm pretty sure if I can just chuck it deep to Cam Coleman or Eric Singleton, I could probably make some big plays. But Jackson Arnold just is continuing to show he doesn't have that it factor to really take Auburn, I think, to the next level. It's making me question whether or not, Hugh and Auburn can find 9 wins or not.
Yeah, to your point, I think that we were both down in Oklahoma, and so we
Yep.
do have to walk that one back. And Caleb, I'll walk back 6 and 6 on Mizzou. Okay, I'll walk back 6 and 6. I'm not going to tell you exactly where I'm landing on where I think they're going to finish, but I will walk back from 6 and 6. Okay,
7 and 5.
yeah, maybe. But Oklahoma has been impressive. Mateer has been impressive. I still am hedging my bets slightly because even as we talked to Chad and Tierney a couple of weeks ago, I agree with what they said. And from their perspective, being on the voice of college football with Oklahoma and being Oklahoma fans, he's carrying the ball too many times, and I just worry about durability in the SEC by the end of the year. However, on the Auburn front, Joy pointed this out, and I'll give her credit for it. That Jackson Arnold is just like a second too slow processing. I
Yep.
think that he can make all the throws. I think he's dynamic in the open field. Oklahoma had too many athletes on from the defensive standpoint. But if he could just process a little quicker and get out of there, then I think Auburn would have had a much better chance. And at the end of the day, it's still only a touchdown game. So it wasn't like there was a lack of competitiveness back and forth in this game. There was a point in the fourth quarter there, midway through, where Auburn took the lead 17-16, and we weren't really sure how it was going to shake out. Scoring was difficult to come by in the whole game. At one point, early in the second half, I forgot who had this stat, but Auburn was averaging, if you took out the sack yardage, just a little over 2 yards per carry, and Oklahoma was averaging like 1.7 yards per carry. So the running the ball was basically non-existent in both sections. My most shocking team of the day yesterday is actually the Ole Miss Rebels. There was a lot of interesting results that we got yesterday across the league, but this one really sticks out to me because Tulane was a team that we really, not just us, the two of us, but that we, the collective media, have championed as a potential G5 representative in the college football playoff. They've looked good at the beginning of the year. They have wins against Northwestern and Duke. And so this is kind of a trap game.
Is that impressive now? Some
No.
idiot on last word picked Tulane to beat Ole Miss too. I don't know who that was. What a moron.
Yeah, well, here's an early I was wrong opportunity for you, Craig.
I was
45 to 10. This is the ultimate trap game, and here's where we missed, right? Because we looked at with Memphis Spence or before the season, we looked at G5 matchups that would be a problem for the SEC. And we highlighted games like this one, Tulane and Ole Miss, the South Florida at Florida matchup, which we saw actually got the Gators. We highlighted the Arkansas at Memphis game that was played yesterday. We've been talking about that game since the summer. Not a good result. We'll get to it a little later for Woo Pig. But this game, unlike South Florida and Florida, when everybody said trap game, trap game, trap game, trap game, with the Gators, I said, surely the level that we're talking about this being a trap game, it doesn't become a trap game. And I think what happened in Gainesville is that maybe it actually wasn't a trap game and they just were struggling. In this case, for Ole Miss, you're looking at LSU next week. And so it's the same narrative. Trap game, trap game, trap game. They did not blink. Lane was not distracted. And I will give one shout out before I kick it to you, to our guy, Trinidad Chambliss, who once again came in and was 17 for 27, 307, and 2 touchdowns, and also led the team in rushing, 14 carries for 112 yards. We have quarterback questions in Oxford. We need to get the Rebel Walk on the line, or we need to get our guy David in here. I don't know. Anybody from Oxford. We need to talk to somebody to figure out if we have quarterback problems. Not problems.
I don't think we have. So I think the question's answered. I think Trinidad is now QB1. I saw some reports on Twitter. God knows if those were right or not.
Right.
As you know, we saw a couple of weeks ago.
Right. Absolutely.
That Austin was healthy. But I wonder, as we're asking questions about Pittman, as we're asking questions about Napier, have we seen Lane Kiffin make the next move in his coaching career? Because again, I think, we look back even to last year, the Kentucky loss, the Florida loss. Has Lane Kiffin turned the corner where like Tulane could have been an opportunity to play with his food and could have been an opportunity to maybe still win the game, but at least make it more difficult on themselves. And he comes out and he hammers or dunks, if you will, on Tulane. So I think it's impressive. And to me, it makes us wonder if, again, we look back to the sheet, is 10 or 11 wins still in Ole Miss's future? Because I think Chambliss gives them a...
This is SEC. Sunday night.
Oh, wow.
Continue.
Wow. Trying to make a point here and just cuts me off, people. All kinds of technical difficulties tonight. So
it's a struggle.
It's a struggle to real, but guess what? It's all good. We make it work. To me, I wonder if Lane LSU is going to be interesting.
Yeah.
He'll be able to score. Well, LSU, I'm not sure. But I think 10 or 11 wins is right there for Oxford, and it could be with Trinidad because I think Austin's going to be there waiting in the wings.
So let's ask the question then. Do you think that having a backup quarterback in the game is something that maybe pulled Lane back a little bit? You know what I mean? You talk about him playing with his food. Like, did he not feel the liberty to play with his food? And so then you just like call what you know this guy's comfortable with and cut him loose. And Chambliss has just proven to kind of be that level of athlete. I mean, 112 on the ground and 307 through the air and a couple of touchdowns. They were cooking.
They were cooking, but I almost wonder. Lane seems to be at peace with himself, and I don't know if that's getting back together with his wife. Knox is now in Oxford. He's enjoying being a dad on Friday nights. It's really cool to see him post that stuff. But I just wonder if he's finally just comfortable in his own skin and just confident. He doesn't feel he has to clown everybody, but he's just going to be himself, and he's going to be in his bag.
Yeah, I agree. So shock to the week are Oklahoma and Ole Miss for us. We'll see where they land as we move forward. Oklahoma going to get a little bit of a break before they continue the rest of their big time SEC schedule. Ole Miss, as you said, will have a matchup with LSU next week, and we'll see
Central. Ugh.
We will see. That's the 3:30 game on
2:30 Central for you real folk, those that know.
3:30 Eastern on ABC, the prime SEC matchup. All right, we'll be right back on SEC Sunday Night Live on the Chief Sports Network with Dailey Joy coming to us from South Bend.
At TriFit Physical Therapy and Performance, we believe true health and peak performance start with personalized care. Whether you're an athlete recovering from injury or just chasing your next personal best, we're here to guide your journey. With expert coaching, hands-on therapy, and transparent cash-based pricing, you get the care you need without the insurance red tape. One client drove 100 miles just to see us and said it was worth every mile. Contact us at trifitperformance.com or 803-353-5619. TriFit Physical Therapy and Performance, where recovery meets results.
When playing sports, you want a coach that will fight for you. At Hewitt Diamaduros Law Firm, we've got your back. Whether it's personal injury, insurance disputes, negligence, or wrongful death, our team delivers exceptional legal services that makes meaningful difference in the lives of the individuals and families we work for. Visit hdlawsc.com. hdlawsc.com. Hewitt Diamaduros, we're on your team.
OTC is go.
Thank you. Go.
PTC is go.
LPS is go. Houston flight is go.
Pilot go. FTM is go.
Safety com is go.
STU is go. LRD is go.
SRO is go.
CDI is go. Launch director, NTD, our launch team is ready to proceed at this time.
It's SEC Sunday Night, presented by Hewitt Diamaduros. Visit hdlawsc.com. It's go time.
Welcome back to SEC Sunday Night. We are here live on the Chief Sports Network with our good friend Dailey Joy, always on the SEC Pretty Campus Tour. It is Friday, September 19th as we are recording this, and we have a few things to talk about as Joy is getting ready to take on an adventure in South Bend. So first of all, Joy, how's it going? What's happening with you this week?
You know, it's going. We're out here in the Midwest. I just decided to give the SEC a break for a minute. You know, everyone needs a good change of scenery every now and then. And it's very rare that you get to visit a Notre Dame team that starts out the year 0-2. So, why not go see if the bad luck's going to continue or if they can turn this thing around.
Yeah, and there's something to be said about going to a game at Notre Dame as well. I think that it's got to be on your bucket list, and it makes sense to kind of squeeze it in this week. But as we look at the SEC and we look at the first quarter of the year, we talked a little bit last week about where things are kind of shaking out. And if we had evaluated at the beginning of the season, the teams that we would have picked at the top would have probably been Texas. People would make an argument for Georgia. They kind of flew under the radar in the offseason. LSU is obviously in this discussion. As we look at it after 3 weeks, and as people are watching this video, there'll be 4 weeks under everybody's belt. But we kind of have had it like a quarter of the season out of the way. Who is it that sticks out to you? Is there a surprise team? Is there a team that has come from under the radar? And I'll just go ahead and say, Texas was everybody's favorite, and wow, that does not look exactly like what we want it to be. We talked off the air just a minute ago about quarterbacks and injuries. I still think Arch is hurt, but we'll leave that for another day. Who sticks out to you?
For me, nothing is different. I am always going to give Kirby and Georgia the benefit of the doubt. They've earned that right. And so I expected Georgia to be good. They have proven to be good. I still think LSU will be perfectly fine. I think they're good. I was not on the Texas bandwagon, and I have never been on the Arch bandwagon. I think part of that is just being a Louisiana native, knowing where he went to high school, hearing the rumblings of who he played in high school, and knowing that if his last name was not Manning, he would not have been a 5-star quarterback coming out of high school. I was never huge on Arch. I think Texas fans really bought into it, which is fine. I understand wanting to buy into your quarterback. But at the same time, we've talked about this previously on the show. They've propped him up so much that anything less than perfection was a failure. And so I think Arch is just having I do agree with you. I do think there's some injury there that is not being disclosed. And then I also think he's a first-year starter, and they've had some tough competition. Some games not so much. Obviously he got booed last week. I think Texas fans really should level out their expectations of what they thought he was going to be. Because whether or not you're killing your opponent by 50 or 7, you should not be booing your quarterback in any way, shape, or form. That's a really bad look for Texas and for Texas fans. But as far as what I've seen so far, I'm not super surprised by anyone. I would say the biggest surprise I have was Tennessee. I think, and that's probably just based on, all of the offseason chatter, so many conversations about what was going to happen. With the whole quarterback situation, with Nico leaving, Joey Aguilar coming in, are they going to be good? Is this a Heupel issue? Has he lost the locker room? Every narrative you can imagine has come through, and Tennessee showed up and showed out last weekend. So I would say for me so far this season, not a whole lot of surprises. We've honestly probably had more disappointments than we have positive surprises in the SEC, but Tennessee has been a bright light in that arena for sure.
Speaking of Tennessee, I do think Joey Aguilar has kind of been the individual surprise of the year for everybody, because there's just such a question mark at the quarterback position. You were in Knoxville, but you've been to a couple of different locations so far. So now that you're on kind of an SEC bye week and hanging out in South Bend, let's look back at your first 3 trips. Even though week 1 was outside of the league as well, you got to look at Texas from an environmental standpoint. Columbus, Columbia, Missouri, Knoxville. What stands out to you? What has been the most impressive environment?
I would say in-game experience, Tennessee has by far had the most impressive environment. And for that, I think it's a couple things. One, you have a massive stadium. Your fans were the most bought in because you're playing a team that you haven't beat in years. And obviously, yet again, had that disappointing outcome at the end of it. But I would say I was pleasantly surprised with Columbia. It was not at all what I thought it would be. It was significantly better. Their tailgating is phenomenal. Their fan base is friendly. They're very self-aware. They don't think they're the South. If you would give them 2 minutes to explain themselves, they would tell you that themselves. They're we're a Midwestern team that got caught up in this conference, and they're very just happy to be here. And I would say they have excellent hospitality. They blend in really well with the SEC. And I think a lot of SEC schools, probably in a little bit of our arrogance, aren't really willing to give them a chance. And I'm glad that I did, especially on a week that they had a big rival. They really cared about that game. Their fans were passionate about it. They showed up. When their stadium expansion's done, they'll also have a super great stadium to play in. And so I think if the SEC could maybe put our judgments down for a few minutes and take the trip to Como, we would all probably be pleasantly surprised.
Well, considering we don't know what's going to happen at the time of this recording with South Carolina and Missouri in Como this weekend, by the time this airs, that segment may or may not be received well on the
Yeah,
Chief Sports Network,
that's
knowing how
true.
many Gamecock fans are probably in the chat box right now with comments. We'll see. It is not lost on me the fact that I'm in South Carolina, you're in Indiana, and I have on a hoodie and you have on short sleeves, and the fact that if you combined our outfits, we are wearing Mizzou colors right now.
We
So
sure are.
it's a little concerning to me. I'm not sure if it's foreshadowing or what's going to happen with that. Okay. So to get off of Missouri and turn the page a little bit, let's talk about quarterbacks across the league. This is a topic that I feel like we talk about in media in general a lot, but it's because everybody wants to talk about them. And it is the most important position in sports. And so on the one hand, I feel like we can talk it a little too much, but on the other hand, I understand the importance of breaking this down. When you look at the SEC, who stands out to you as the top quarterbacks in the league so far? You know, like we said before, some surprises, some expectations that were exactly what they were supposed to be. There are a couple of guys who were expected to be at the top who maybe have not played up to their potential through 3 weeks. So you tell me who's standing out. Who are you taking as the quarterback of your team if you could have your pick of anybody in the SEC?
Oh gosh, if I had to, well, I would still take my quarterback. Like, let me start there. Because I think, yes, I understand that Garrett Nussmeier has extremely underperformed based on what people expected of him. Obviously, it came out this week that there is a potential injury there. I think that could potentially explain a lot about why he's playing the way that he is, why the play calling has been more conservative than we have all probably wanted it to be. And so I still, at this exact moment, if you had to make me pick a quarterback, I am still taking Garrett Nussmeier. I think the talent is there, the skill is there, the experience is there, the intangibles, the things that you can't pick, the things that you can't replace, Garrett Nussmeier has. And so I would still take him. If you made me exclude him from the conversation right now, I think we'd have to have a really good look at John Mateer. He has done nothing but impress so far at Oklahoma. And then last week, like, we really watched Gunnar Stockton and Joey Aguilar step up in moments that they really needed to step up in. And so I would say between those three, if you made me take Nuss out of the equation, I could make a case for any three of those quarterbacks. They've all been insanely impressive. And the rest of the quarterbacks in the league, if I'm being insanely honest with you, have done nothing but underperform, underdeliver, and frankly, just disappoint.
You know, one SEC quarterback that has been really impressive to me has been Carson Beck. Wait,
No,
he's not in the league anymore?
not
Sorry,
in the
Craig.
league anymore. Sorry.
Sorry, Craig. That one's for you. Okay. So you mentioned John Mateer. Let's just pick one game because I understand that it's Friday and this is going to come out on Sunday. And so we don't need to pick a bunch of games and tell everybody, you know, what our opinions are and how they're wrong on the back end. But
Right.
Let's pick one because the Jackson Arnold Bowl is happening this weekend and we have the return of the former Oklahoma starting quarterback now with the Auburn Tigers coming back in Norman. Huge matchup for both teams, right? Brent Venables has the boys rolling in Norman so far this season. Like you said, Mateer has really been impressive. On the other hand, a little bit of a surprise for Auburn. There's mixed reviews coming into the year about what they would be. Craig and I were both really high on them. The impressive thing to me and kind of curious is that Jackson Arnold has really gotten it done on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And you have two receivers that you went out and spent money on in the portal. And so there's an opportunity to throw the ball. Mike Morgan said on one of our shows here on Chief Sports Network on College Football Forever with JC and Morgan earlier this week, that won't be a problem until Auburn loses. And then it'll be pointed out they're not utilizing those receivers. You tell me, I think as we sit here right now, Oklahoma is a 6.5-point favorite. Who are you leaning towards, the Sooners or War Eagle?
Yeah, I'm slamming Oklahoma in this game, if I'm being honest. I completely agree with those words. Auburn potentially, and this is high praise coming from me, I think Auburn might have the best wide receiver room in the country. And I mean, I come from the school that produces wide receivers, like we produce Cajun food. It's ridiculous. And they are so underutilized. And if Hugh Freeze cannot figure out a way to plug them into this game, it's Oklahoma, and it's Oklahoma, I think, by a pretty wide margin. I think we saw what Oklahoma was made of when they played Michigan. They're not scared. I think it was actually on the show that I talked about. I want to see Oklahoma come back with their swagger. Like Oklahoma used to have this team when they walked out on the field, you were a little bit intimidated to play them. They walked out with a confidence, maybe even a little bit of an arrogance that they really felt like they could win a game. And that's something that we haven't seen from Oklahoma in years past that is starting to come back. And I think if they continue to play with the level of confidence that they're playing with, if John Mateer continues to be a leader on that team, Brent Venables is going to produce a quality defense. It's what he does year in and year out. They finally have an offense that's capable of matching this. And so I like the Sooners, and I like the Sooners by a lot.
Okay, I'm actually going to push back on this. I think the wagon wheels are going to come off this week. As you said, the swag used to be there, and then somewhere around the time that wagon flipped over, things just started to go off the rails. And so I actually have been high on Auburn throughout the offseason, and I was not that high on Oklahoma, and so I'm going to stick to that. I'm going to stick to my guns here and say that I think that there is a lot that can happen in this game, and it could really swing one way or another. But I do think that Jackson Arnold has a point to prove. And when it comes to quarterback play, as much as I can throw rocks at his coaching style and other ways, I trust Hugh Freeze here, and so I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt and say that that the Tigers actually get this one done, and we're gonna be impressed with Auburn when we're watching this video on Sunday night. So we'll see. I'll send you a text and we'll figure out which one of us owes the other one $20. All right.
Don't worry. If Oklahoma's killing it, I'll text you real quick.
Make sure that you go to secpretty.com to get your hats. We are here each and every week. Megan Maroney is here. She has jumped on the bandwagon. She's rocking it. So want to make sure that you guys fit in with the cool kids. So go to secpretty.com, get your hats today. Joy, thanks a lot for being with us. Enjoy South Bend, and we will see you next week.
When playing sports, you want a coach that will fight for you. At Hewitt Diamaduros Law Firm, we've got your back. Whether it's personal injury, insurance disputes, negligence, or wrongful death, our team delivers exceptional legal services that makes meaningful difference in the lives of the individuals and families we work for. Visit hdlawsc.com. hdlawsc.com. Hewitt Diamaduros, we're on your team.
Oh, man. The building is on fire.
Emergencies and accidents happen. When you're in the middle of a fire or water event, all you want is for things to return to normal as soon as possible. Resto Pros of the Midlands is with you, guiding you through the process and working with you to get your home or office back in working order. They'll answer your questions, discuss procedures, and can act as your advocate when it comes to processing your insurance claim. Resto Pros Midlands SC.com. Open 24/7 when you need them. Quality that is guaranteed.
At TriFit Physical Therapy and Performance, we believe true health and peak performance start with personalized care. Whether you're an athlete recovering from injury or just chasing your next personal best, we're here to guide your journey. With expert coaching, hands-on therapy, and transparent cash-based pricing, you get the care you need without the insurance red tape. One client drove 100 miles just to see us and said it was worth every mile. Contact us at trifitperformance.com or 803-353-5619. TriFit Physical Therapy and Performance, where recovery meets results.
Yo, what's up?
Baby, let's go!
This is SEC, Sunday night on the Chiefs Sports Network.
Welcome back to SEC Sunday Night Live on the Chief Sports Network. As you can see there, we just got it from myself and Joy on what our thoughts were prior to the weekend. Let me say this first. Shout out to the TriFit Performance guest line for bringing us great guests like Joy, and of course, like our friend Casey Cregan every week as well. TriFitPerformance.com. If you're having trouble with your performance physically in terms of your knees, your ankles, your back, your neck, your elbows, your nutrition, or if you just need physical therapy recovery from an injury like Craig, because we know that he is old and falls often, and sometimes you need to work those things out.
Dude, I worked homecoming like 15 hours on Friday. I did a lot of housework and back. I did some stuff. I could hit some TriFit right now because my back and my butt.
Well, you need to call Mitch. You need to call Mitch or go to TriFitPerformance.com and book an appointment today. No red tape. They got people driving 100 miles away. Casey's probably 100 miles away. You are a little more than that, but we'll see if we can't
14
fly
hours
you down.
away. 14
we'll see if we
hours
can't
away.
fly you down. Okay, now we are SEC Sunday Night. I want to say hello to all of our new friends over here in the chat. If you're new to us and you caught that segment with Joy, every week we have the SEC Pretty Campus Tour, and sometimes because Joy is on the road and she's at a different stadium every week, we get a chance to grab her before the game. Sometimes we get her after the game. It just kind of depends on what the flight schedules are and when we can grab her. So sometimes we're giving you some predictions that we didn't get to react to, and sometimes we're getting some live post game. In this case, Joy was coming to us prior to the weekend. We recorded that on Friday and kind of gave some of our thoughts about the SEC and the environments as a whole. But I did want to pick that one game between Oklahoma and
how'd that go?
Auburn. And let me just do this, because really when we came back from break, I just wanted to start my face in my hands and just scream because everything I said was wrong. So one of our favorite statements here on the show is I was wrong. I was wrong. I was wrong. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Now Joy said that it was going to be a wide margin. So I'm going to take a shot and say she was a little wrong too, but not as wrong as me. I picked Auburn. I stand corrected. Shout out to the Sooners. We've got quite a list to get into, but let's start here. How good is Oklahoma, and what does this mean for Auburn?
Well, real quick. Stop with the arch slander, Joy. We don't need that crap. Anyway, we all know Joy's a dog fan. Obviously.
Back to it.
All right. So what was your question?
What does this mean for Auburn is really my question, because I think that we understand that Oklahoma is going to be a challenger in the SEC. Now, we hedged it earlier in the show. If you guys are just joining us and you missed the beginning of the show, my question, some Oklahoma people that we talked to Chad and Tierney Smith a few weeks ago. We want to talk to them. And the question for me is, how durable is John Mateer going to be, carrying the ball as much as he is, kind of putting the team on his back? At what point is he going to I'm not saying he's going to get hurt necessarily. I mean, obviously it's a possibility in a league like this, and if you're running the ball that much, but just wearing down, at what point does that wear on their production? But this is not about Oklahoma. I think we understand where they are. Auburn plays them within a touchdown, and we can attribute a lot of it to Jackson Arnold being a touch behind in his processing. What does this mean for Auburn? Are they really that close? Because Craig, you and I preseason had them 9-3, so let's be honest here when we give this take.
Okay, so I was ready to jump all over Brother Hugh and the Eagles, Tigers, whatever the heck they are. I don't know why is it an eagle? Why is it a tiger? I don't know. I feel like I digress. They're going to Texas A&M next week, and initially my thought is, oh my gosh, Auburn's in trouble. But then I've watched Texas A&M, regardless of what I said last week, and their defense is terrible. So Texas A&M may be exactly what Jackson Arnold and Cam Coleman and Eric Singleton need, because maybe that'll help jumpstart them. Now, if they lose that one, it's 2 in a row, and that could be trouble for Brother Hugh. But to be honest, you're going on the road at Kyle Field. But I think the Texas A&M defense is just exactly what Auburn needs to get back on track.
Well, I think that it's a pivotal game for them because it's a very volatile fan case. And Casey knows this well, right, Casey? That Auburn, frequent flyer in the message board community in terms of wild takes, hot takes, and wild statements. They are well known to pull the trigger quickly on some of these coaching moves.
Are they?
And so, to your point, Craig, Brother Hugh could be in a little bit of trouble if they don't get it done at Texas A&M. Yeah, I think it's kind of a make or break type of situation. But to your point, I think Cam Coleman and Singleton and even Horatio Fields and kind of that whole group is a deep, very talented wide receiver group. They've got the pieces. It's just a question of, does the 12th man, what does that do to them? What's the level of intimidation? Okay. Any thoughts? Anything else on Auburn before I move on to my next question? Casey, anything?
They're good.
They're the Clemson of the West, right?
They're
Same
good.
camp. It's the same campus.
Be nice.
It's the same campus. That's what I meant.
It's
Not the
founded by the
school.
same
It is
guy.
the same campus. It's the same campus. They have the
They
same
say-
building, the same names. The
Yeah,
only thing
that's
Clemson has
true.
that Auburn doesn't have is the lake.
That's right.
Championships.
I wasn't
No,
talking
no.
about
Clemson has
programs.
actual championships, not made up championships.
I wasn't talking about programs.
I really like Cam Coleman, and a couple of those guys on the field yesterday were guys that Clemson missed on, including Cam Coleman. So it was hard to watch. But I thought Auburn looked okay. I really did. I don't know.
Yeah. Biggest question for both Oklahoma and Auburn is those offensive lines. I thought
that's pretty obvious, Craig.
Yeah, both of them look poor. And Rob and I talked about this.
Rob got a sack yesterday, I think. Who didn't?
I got one and a half. I got 1.5.
Yeah, but like even Oklahoma's offensive line, I felt like Mateer was running for his life quite a bit. So to me, like that's something to watch for both of them, and that could derail Oklahoma in their whatever they're trying to do this season.
Okay, let me ask this question, kind of moving on from that game, because obviously that's been a focal point. Who, through this point of the season, here you go, our friend Caleb wanted us to talk about Mizzou. We're going to do it now. Who has been more impressive to this point, Missouri or Vanderbilt?
Vanderbilt.
Okay, why?
Because they hung 70 on my Panthers, my Georgia State Panthers.
Okay, I should have known that this was going to take a personal turn.
This was going to take a personal turn, but the other part is Pavia and Clark Lee are backing up all of the chatter that they talked about for Any Given Saturday this week, the Netflix series, and have come out. I mean, look what they did last week in Columbia. They put it on South Carolina. Yes, South Carolina was down Lenora Sellers, but that defense absolutely shut them down. Javi and the offense have not missed on anything. As weird as it sounds, we could be having a college football playoff with Indiana and Vanderbilt both in it.
Mm-mm.
Maybe one of them hosting a game. Why are you laughing?
No, it's more of like thinking about it and thinking.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah,
Casey,
at this point.
Do you have an opinion on who's been more impressive between Vanderbilt and Missouri?
I'll be honest. I watched the Mizzou game last night, and I love those running backs. That Ahmad Hardy is really special, and quite honestly, I thought Lenore's looked great, untouchable at times, and then boneheaded at times too. But
yeah, I agree.
I tried to watch with an open mind because that's how I'm watching this year's college football season for obvious reasons. But I was really impressed with the running backs at Mizzou and their offensive line. Perbula, yeah, he flashes at times, but I really like those running backs. So I'm going to say Mizzou.
Okay, yeah, I can see both. It'll be interesting to see which one of those teams. And we talked to Maggie Johnson from Mizzou. That's who before the season, and I was talking with her this weekend, and she mentioned something about the middle tier in the SEC. It kind of sparked the thought in my mind that now, first of all, this is weird to say too, but Vanderbilt is part of the middle tier, right at this point. And so if we're looking at the middle tier of the SEC, it's kind of hard to draw the line, I think, between where the top tier ends and where the middle tier begins. And then if we want to,
Is there a bottom tier?
Kentucky.
Yes, that's what I was about to say.
Okay, sorry.
It's Kentucky. And if we're not
Probably
careful,
Arkansas.
Florida and South Carolina. Now, I think from a talent standpoint,
Ooh,
Florida and
bite
South
your
Carolina
tongue.
looked. I think from a talent standpoint, Florida and South Carolina are not even in the ballpark of what Kentucky is, and I'm gonna throw that shot.
So there's 4 tiers.
There should be, yeah, there should be 4 tiers, and we don't know. Here's another thing we'll say too: we haven't given them enough love this year, but Mississippi State has looked really impressive relative to expectations.
Mhm.
But we're gonna
they
see
got
what
to
happens when it hit. We're gonna see what happens when it hits the fan here, because the meat of the schedule is going to start picking up in the league. So we'll see kind of where they're going. My question is, when we look at kind of this, if we did 3 tiers, and we look at that middle group, who can elevate themselves out of that and make the college football playoff? Because if we're talking about the top tier, that's what it is, right? The top tier is the college football playoff teams. So teams that are in the running for the college football playoff.
Is that 6 or 7 deep with Clemson?
Maybe
and Purdue to start the year.
could potentially get in there. I mean, you're talking about 6 or 7 that could get into the college football playoff.
Yeah, is that if the first tier is the college football playoff, and we're putting like 7 teams in because we got the SEC bias.
Correct.
Yeah, so we're looking at team 8 or 9. Is that
Who are
how
the
low?
realistic? Yes. Who are realistic teams from the SEC that we think right now could make the college football playoff? The top, LSU, Georgia.
I don't trust LSU. I have to see LSU.
Craig.
No.
Ole Miss. You just
Ole
said
Miss.
that.
Yes, Ole Miss. So I don't get totally ostracized by the fan base.
Tennessee.
Georgia.
Bama. I already said Georgia. Alabama.
No, they're gonna get clowned this weekend in Athens.
We're gonna get to that. Okay, so that's where Oklahoma.
I don't trust them.
Okay, so that's where your line is. You see that's my point.
Yeah.
Is that if we're gonna go Tennessee, Georgia, Ole Miss, that's what you would have at the top. Where are you putting Texas?
In
Our
the,
guy Rami,
in the
Rami
playoff
over here.
In the playoff. You're
You
asking
are
me where? Yes.
still.
Archer's back. Archer's back. He was like 17-21 this weekend.
Yeah.
Against Sam Houston,
Sam
baby.
Houston. Get out of
Yeah.
here.
He'll be
Get
fine.
out of here.
He's playing the Gators this week. He'll be fine.
That one's really interesting to me. To
It's
be honest,
not.
we're gonna get to that in a second too.
It's not. Florida's lack of offense is going to make that uninteresting.
Okay, so I agree with Casey that the backs for Mizzou are really impressive. I have my own thoughts about South Carolina's lack of ability to tackle yesterday, and so, but I don't want to steal any credit, because you can't do that, right? You can't take any credit away from how hard those backs are running and the balance that they have and the power that they have, and the agility and the vision that they have to run through those tackles. I can look at South Carolina because that's a school and a team that I'm going to take a little bit of a deeper look at, and we're obviously on the Chief Sports Network.
Where are they at in the tier? Are they bottom of the middle tier?
Are we doing 3 or 4 tiers?
3 tiers. And
they're bottom of the middle.
I'm so confused. I'm like Casey trying to do math right now, trying to figure out the tiers and the number of teams
if we're doing 3 tiers, I'm putting them bottom of the middle.
Yeah.
They're teetering. You can't lose to Kentucky this week, first of all, at home. But then after that, you have a bye week, and then you're going to go LSU. And I'm not sure exactly the order, but it's LSU, Bama, Ole Miss, Oklahoma are the next 4 games. And so that really tells.
What's their record in that? Let's make a cut bet. Those 4 games.
It has to be 2-2.
I didn't ask you what it has to be, Robert. I said, how many games are they going to win?
Full name.
I did. That's when you know. That's when you know
if
it's serious.
If tells me Robert Charles Williams III, then we know that it's going down. Yeah, I don't.
Do they see 2?
At LSU.
Over under 1.5. Ready? There's the over under. It's 1.5. You taking the over?
Right now, I'm taking the under. It's at LSU and at Ole Miss. Home games are Bama and Oklahoma. Here's the thing about South Carolina. I'll say really quickly. I don't think they're scared of anybody. Especially because it's a lot of the same a lot of the same guys. You lost some leaders off the defense, but you still have a couple of key players who played on the team last year. where they felt like the one from LSU just got away from them. The calls, Lenore's didn't play the whole second half. Then the Bama game, you lost by 2. Had shots at the end. It was right there, a couple plays away from winning that one. So I don't think they're going to be intimidated. The only game where they really got a hold of them last year was Ole Miss, and you had Lenoris and Rocket Sanders both banged up and coming back from injuries, a little rusty, and it just got away really early, and they never got it back. So I don't think they're going to be intimidated in any environment or by any team that's coming into Williams-Brice. But what we've just seen this year is an absolute struggle up front on the line of scrimmage, especially on the offensive side of the ball. And last night they had negative rushing yards. And so that's the difference. You think about this. They lost to Missouri by 9, and Missouri rushed for 280-something yards, and South Carolina had like negative 10 rushing yards. And they only lost by 9. So if you could just run the ball for 50 yards or don't take that many sacks.
Penalties.
And 14
Lenoris is holding the ball a lot, and that hit he took at the end of the first half was come on, bro. Shane, make him take a knee. Tell Mike, you don't need to chuck it deep.
But that's the thing is, he didn't have to take the hit. The play call did not dictate that he needed to take that hit.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I'm taking.
Should we talk hot seat?
Missouri. I'm taking Missouri over Vandy, I think, right now.
Who's Shane on the hot seat?
No, we're talking the 2 coaches that lost yesterday, which were and this will be a nice lead-in for you, Casey, when we get to the boards here in just a minute. But let's just talk about them, dare I say, logically before we get there. Arkansas goes down at Memphis, and then we also have Florida losing yet again, this time to Miami. Looked like maybe the Gators had a shot late. They're still in it, and then it just got out of hand. Craig, would you like to do the honors of breaking down Carson Beck's play for us one more time? I know you've been missing an opportunity to do that.
Yeah, really love the fact that watching Carson Beck lead a team inside the red zone, and then that team not being able to find the end zone, and then just kicking field goals to make that game a hell of a lot closer than it needed to be. Beck is still not impressive. Miami is not impressive. Neither is Florida. So I can't wait till they actually play somebody decent and then get smashed. How was that? Is that what you were looking for?
No, I was really looking for more of the Florida side of things, but I understand. Carson Beck is overriding things.
Oh, I had to come after you because somebody in a segment with Joy said something about Carson Beck as an SEC quarterback.
Right,
that
right.
Just isn't the case.
I missed that.
So Florida, the offense is broken. I think there was a special teams play where they only had 10 people on there.
Again.
What you have to do eventually, you must do immediately. And Andy Staples talked about that quite a bit. It's over for Napier. I know that, he had a great resurrection last year, was able to redeem himself. The team just looks broken. Lagway looks like he is lacking confidence, and Billy just looks stressed out. It's not getting any better. My question is it ready for Shannon Dawson? Can they wait for, if Miami makes the playoff, can they wait long enough to bring Shannon Dawson in? Because to me, if you're looking at Florida, you're looking at an exciting offense. Yes, Miami does have an exciting offense. I just don't like Carson Beck. That's why I get my analysis out of it.
So you're off of the drink. You're off of the drink to Gainesville bandwagon.
Yep. I think because what you do if you take Shannon Dawson from Miami, you're punching at your rival, which is Miami. And then you're also, again, Dawson is probably, arguably, outside of Arbuckle, probably one of the top offensive coordinators in the game right now.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll take the other one. So we talked about this Memphis-Arkansas game for the past, 3, 4, 5 months. We've been talking about it for a long time. It's just a disaster, a mess, trap waiting to happen. Sam Pittman coming into a tumultuous year anyway. And then what we had was the Hogs looking pretty good in the first few weeks. Taylor Green looks like one of the best quarterbacks in the league, if not the best quarterback in the SEC, and just lacking a significant surrounding cast. The things that we said in the past few weeks where he has a good surrounding cast, maybe not good enough, but he has enough pieces where they're going to be competitive. Then they went to Memphis, and the struggle, the back and forth, you saw Taylor Green had some kind of boneheaded mistakes, turning the ball over again. And then just in the
You got 2 plays. Casey, you still with me?
Yep, I'm with you.
All right, Rob's internet went out again. So we'll break down the Hogs. Did you get to see this one? I know.
I did actually. Yes.
Am I back? Am I back
lucky.
again?
You're back.
You're back. We're about ready to pick you up. We had to.
Okay. Well, in the most gut-wrenching Arkansas way possible, Arkansas is driving down to kick an easy field goal, just running the ball, bleeding clock, and the ball is punched out, and Memphis recovers and ends up winning the football game.
Second week in a row, you've had a red zone turnover. Last week, they were going in to score again against Ole Miss. Ole Miss punches it out with the receiver. This time, the running back does it. I mean,
so here's my question before we get to the boards.
This is to Casey.
Who's gone first? Napier or Pittman?
Napier. Napier's going to be he loses. He gets embarrassed again. He's gone during the season.
Yep.
He's going to. He might be this week.
My bias is showing.
The schedule's too much. The schedule is too much. He's going to. They're going to get killed at some point again.
I think Sam stays to the end of the year, and then
you think he retires?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just. And again, it's my bias. I talked about this a few weeks ago. I love Sam Pittman. I think he is perfect for Arkansas. Those two losses sucked. You were up by 18 against Memphis and you lost. You were in a shootout with Ole Miss and you lost. You get one of those two, then you're feeling pretty good. I think I'm going to call it right here. You want to know where Pittman's going to redeem himself? Sorry, Palk. He's going to knock off Notre Dame. That's going to be a thriller. I think that one's going to be another shootout in Fayetteville. He's going to knock off Notre Dame, and he's going to find 7 wins. He's going to win the Liberty Bowl, and then he will retire.
7 wins is crazy, but they do tend to do something like what you're describing with Notre Dame.
They haven't gotten see Tennessee last year.
Yeah.
Tennessee last
they
year.
haven't gotten it yet. They've gotten close with Ole Miss last week.
Paul just unfollowed me, by the way.
All right, so as we're talking about hot seats, let's talk about meltdowns. It's time for It Just Means More Genius. But Craig, why don't you give us what we all need to hear as I get these things loaded up again because my internet is being so lovely with us tonight.
Yeah.
Let us know everything that goes into this and why we do this each week.
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to the Message Board Genius podcast. Not only Casey, but MBG and Who's and Courtney. They are good friends of the show. We've been doing this show now almost for 2 years, and they have been so supportive in doing that. A lot of people I feel are ripping off MBG and all the hard work that he does now, The Athletic, and some of these other people are just, I feel like, just blatantly taking it from them. One of the reasons why we show the tweets from MBG is a nod and a hat tip to everything that you guys have done for the show, because not only do I think that we're partners, we consider you all dear friends, and you are what's best about college football, because we can just banter and be back and forth. So I wanted to give that shout out, because I think a lot of people are not doing the right thing and they're ripping y'all off. And by no means are we looking to do that. But it's really just hat tipping and just saying, hey, you guys are our friends and we want to keep you along for the ride.
And we appreciate that very much, Craig. And also, I just want to make sure that everyone knows it's MBG that does all the work, right? For the podcast now, all 4 of us do. It's a collaborative effort. But the page and the site and all the pulling of the posts is MBG himself. So I don't take any credit from that whatsoever.
Shout out to MBG. And on that note, it just means more genius. Let's get started here. Look at this. This is going to be luck of the draw. This is going to be luck of the draw. Whatever. I have them.
Good. I got quick fingers.
Image
low
files.
battery.
Going to be luck of the draw. Let's do it.
All right, we're going to VolQuest. Reliable sources, MBG says, reliable sources at Virginia Tech tell him that Dan Mullen is the man that they want. Virginia Tech source tells me they want Dan Mullen. That would be a pretty good hire for them. Thick Stripe said that. So Virginia
I like
Tech.
Dan Mullen. I
would.
I have long since advocated Florida should have never fired Dan Mullen. We did this whole study in the summer where I broke
I had
down
a shoe, I'd throw it at you.
stop it. We broke down the recruiting rankings, and Napier has been no better. That's why they fired Dan Mullen. The recruiting has been
the
the
record
same
too, right?
and the record is
The record is far worse.
It is
far worse.
way worse. So
You think,
my question, if I'm Florida, is
I'm sorry, Rob. Go ahead.
now, I mean, if you're Florida, if you fire Billy Napier, which we're saying is inevitable, are you just knocking yourself down another rung to try to rebuild again? Like, that's where I feel like happens when we pull these triggers too quickly. And that's why we'll always advocate to give coaches a little bit more time. There are pieces on the coaching staffs and roster management that we can do that can change up success more than just cutting the head off every time and restarting. I think Dan Mullen if he goes to Virginia Tech by this incredibly obviously reliable source, then I think he could actually have some success. But what do I know?
We haven't seen any plane tags yet. We haven't seen any plane, flight awares from Las Vegas to Blacksburg. But be on the lookout, guys. Get your flight aware accounts up to date and re-upped, and just keep a lookout.
My question is, like, I do think Dan's probably going to be on the move after a year at UNLV. He's got them somehow 4-0 right now. I'm going to look at two spots for him. UCLA, not Blacksburg. I'm going to say if Pittman does retire, I think he might find his way to Arkansas.
I got something for you though. So he's got Anthony Calandria out there from the Virginia transfer. Yep. So if he goes back to Virginia Tech, do you think he brings Calandria back to Virginia Tech to
that
beat
would be incredible.
The Wahoos?
That would be incredible.
What if he goes to
who's on the line right now?
What if he goes to Charlottesville? Yeah, what if he goes to Charlottesville? Because who knows if Tony Elliott's going to still be there at the end of the year.
I think he will.
I think if he's not, Dabo should call him to come to Clemson. Okay, time for the next one.
SEC Sunday night, Rob.
From Swamp 24/7. Casey, take it away.
All right, our good friend Iceman 4423, I guess, because there was 4,422 other ice men going on, says, Lane, are you watching? Please look at us. We are at the bottom, in the depths of despair. You can turn this offense around in 1 year, whether with DJ or Muck Vic or Trinidad or Jamaica or whatever his name is, or Trammell. It doesn't matter. You can save us, Lane.
God, is this the popular one or not, though? I feel like this is going to be like the most, like, this is going to be Lane to Auburn 2 years ago. Yep. I feel like all the Gators are going to be like Lane Kiffin, Lane Kiffin, Lane Kiffin. Is he leaving Oxford?
I would not leave Oxford. I would not.
When he first got there, he said something about brown water. He doesn't like brown water. He likes the blue water. And I guess he was talking about the lakes around Oxford. But so that he kept his house in Baton Rouge. Well, of course he kept his house in Baton Rouge. Why wouldn't you? Or Baton Rouge,
Boca.
No, not Baton.
In Boca.
Boca Raton. Same thing.
Boca Raton.
Red stick.
Hey,
Joy.
My
character right there.
Joy, please tell me that you're out there listening to this somewhere and just heard Casey confuse Boca Raton and Baton Rouge.
It's the same thing. It's all
Casey's going to get canceled in Boca Raton.
Hey, but seriously though, I wouldn't leave. We've said this a million times. We've said it a million times. The expectation level in Oxford puts him right where he wants to be.
Yep.
And if he goes anywhere else, in Florida specifically, it's a quick trigger. It'd just be dumb.
Why move again? You're set there. He's at
absolutely
a
set
program. Like, why leave? Why would you leave that?
City Grocery. Our boy John Tej. Shout out to House of Smoke, by the way. My copy is in transit as we speak.
I love that.
I just don't. I don't see Lane leaving. The only spot I think Lane would leave is I think he goes to the NFL. I think
maybe.
I think that would be his only move, or if DeBoer really screws it up at Alabama, he may go back. He may go back to Alabama.
I could see that. Well, I'm hesitant on that one, but you don't want to be the guy that follows the guy. Who do you want to be?
The guy that follows the guy.
Who follows the guy?
Follows the guy.
Exactly.
Follows the
Exactly.
guy.
All right, moving on. Oh my goodness!
Sorry.
I don't
who
even
put
know what I'm
this one in
clicking
here?
on.
Who
I don't even know if I'm
Big
clicking.
Spur.
Who picked this one?
All right, let's get this in and out.
Rob's Burner says South Carolina does not belong in the SEC. Please find a conference where you can excel and win trophies. The
This is just
Pac-12
the
is
level-
opening.
This is just stop it. This is just the level of frustration happening in Columbia right now, and I think that's all that needs to be said.
All right.
Back to the ACC, baby.
1969 ACC champs. It's right there on Willie
All right,
B.
all right, that one's gone. That
All
didn't
right,
take long.
moving on. Our friend Cherry Garcia. That ice cream's delicious, isn't it, Craig? It's
It's
time to
fantastic. I
sue
love it.
the SEC, this Auburn sports fan says. And he just says simply, do it.
Okay,
Well, they're a
so
Nike school.
So what are they suing for?
the officiating, right? That's what this is about. That was my inclination.
Of course it is. It's always about the officiating.
Was it that big of a deal?
Well, it cost them a touchdown. They lost by 7. You tell me, is it that big of a deal?
How many other plays were in that game?
That's not the point. That's not the point. I think that the SEC officiating in general has been quite honestly atrocious all year. And all I'm advocating for, and I said this on Inside the Gamecocks earlier this week on the morning show, is put these guys in a press conference.
Why?
If coaches have to go to a press conference and players have to go to a press conference, then you're on the field performing and you make mistakes and don't have to answer for any of them, then you need to go to a press conference too, because we need to be able to ask you questions to say,
Stop it.
what were you looking at and why did you make the decision?
You don't it's so great. You know what I love?
It's only fair,
It's-
Craig.
No, it's not fair. Stop jumping on these guys, okay? Listen, officials have a difficult job. And this is not athletic director Craig talking.
You
This
know
is
what?
just in
You're
general.
right. The coaches and players have the easiest job ever. It's
No,
not
but-
difficult at all to make those decisions in game.
I
Great,
agree.
but they
not-
get second guessed all the time. Sure, there's review. I think review's probably been the worst thing for officials because they're so worried about trying to figure out: am I going to make the right mistake or do I not make the call? Do I make the call? Leave them alone. Great, they didn't make that call. Cover the guy. Okay, if he is on the field, he is still in play. Don't just assume he is walking off. Just don't sue somebody because you can't cover someone the correct way.
I'm pro official as well.
I didn't say I wasn't pro official. I just think that I would like to have them. I'd like to have them.
Why
in
don't
a-
you call up your boy McGee and have his dad come on, and then we can talk about whether officials should be interviewed.
I would like to have them in a press conference. That's all I'm saying.
What,
I just
and
wanna
what are
ask
you
him
going to
a
get
couple-
out of it? What
I
are you
just want to
gonna get
ask
out
them
of
a couple questions.
That's a great book.
I need
too.
to ask them
That's
some
a-
questions. Oh, we're still in
it? It is a
Auburn.
good one.
Oh. All right, so
This is the last
Tripster
one, by the way.
24 from another Auburn Undercover, different board. Auburn I can't even say it. Auburn Undercover says, freeze body language. Bro has to be more aware. He just has the look of a complete loser. He's done it for a while, but especially many times this game, it's cut to him, and he just looks like he's given up. Stuff like that is contagious.
He
So you
just-
think that the rest of the team has bad body language too?
I don't know if it's body language, but Hugh just looks tired.
I was about to say, am I the only one who doesn't agree? I mean, doesn't disagree with this? I think this is kind of accurate.
Like he just
He's always
just
looked
looks
that way,
salty.
though.
He just looks stressed. Like I mean, I think he looked better when he was given the thumbs up at Liberty from the hospital bed.
He
least he
looks
was
sick,
rested.
is what he looks. He looks sick.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Like, he looks unhealthy.
Yeah.
It's not even that he has bad body language. However, I want to also point out that this is definitely a new message board poster.
Yep.
Due to the first sentence, bro has to be more aware.
Yeah.
This is at best a 25-year-old.
He
At the
might be
oldest,
19.
at the
He might be.
oldest, there's a good shot he's 19.
I
This
I
person
start
is
him young.
this
Rob. We
person
gotta
caps
start
out
him
at 25.
Yeah.
We can't be having all the old guards eventually gonna retire and get out of the message board game. So we need to keep revamping
I agree.
this.
I agree. I'm trying to give him a shout out, Mr. Who is this? Tripster 24.
Come on.
Come
I
on,
will
Tripster.
I will give Hugh a compliment. One of the things that we ripped on him quite a bit for last year was him like basically going after his players and kind of throwing them under the bus. He has not done that this year, which I think is very positive.
Agreed.
I still think everything's ahead of them for Auburn. 9-3 is probably there. Again, I think the Texas A&M defense is not great. Look for that to be a shootout next week. If we can, before we close, take a look at next week's slate.
That's exactly how I was going to close, Craig. You read my mind, my friend.
Look at that. We should have a show together or something like that.
I know it's almost like we have chemistry or something.
Right. We didn't even have that on the agenda, folks.
Okay, look. More excited for LSU at Ole Miss, where Ole Miss is a 1.5 point favorite. That is
30.
3:30 Eastern, 2:30 Central on ABC.
Casey, what time is that game on? 2:30 or 3:30?
3:30.
Are you more excited for that one, or Alabama at Georgia, 7:30 on ABC? Georgia 3.5 point favorite. Those are back to back. What are we more excited about? Craig is cringing because I just pit Ole Miss and Lane against Georgia.
No,
he doesn't know what to do.
No. I just don't know what to do because Georgia's probably like my biggest thing is like I'm excited for the game, but it's like, hey, is Georgia going to show up, or are we just going to get clowned again by Alabama like we always do?
Yeah.
I'm a little frustrated that the Ole Miss game is not late too. This to me is perfect quad box, having both those at night. I think
they'll never do that.
No, they're the marquee games of the day, so you have to put them back to back.
I know, but the ABC 3:30 game is not the CBS game at 3:30. I will say, like, I like it, but I think about the Oklahoma Auburn game this weekend. It doesn't have the same cachet that the CBS game did. It's different. And I'm just making excuses because I'm worried that Courtney's going to be ripping on me next week as Alabama finds yet another way to beat my dogs. So
you didn't answer the question. Which one you're more excited for?
He never does. That guy.
My goodness.
And his question.
Can I be excited for? Listen, I'm excited for the 2:30 game in Oxford, and I'm really excited for the 6:30 game in Athens.
Why are you on Central Time?
He writes a good article, though.
I do write a good article. Thank you. I'm usually wrong. I don't know. You
just gave him a cop out for my question too by saying he writes a good article. Now he doesn't have to say why he's on Central Time.
I mean, I stopped listening to him about 5 minutes ago. For being honest.
What?
Casey, are you excited about one over the other?
No, I'll have them both on. Clemson bye week. Thank God.
All right.
How's the press conference? Over under for the press conference tomorrow? Is it 59.5 minutes? Is Dabo going to go over or under tomorrow?
Yeah, why don't we throw our Gamecocks a bone here? What are we expecting out of Dabo in this press conference?
It's not going to be good. I mean, it might be good for you guys and the Chief Sports Network, but it's not going to be good. Yeah,
I mean, it's become when it hit the national scene to start talking about the press conference fodder. I kind of went uh-oh.
Yep.
This is not what I thought it was. I actually kind of backed him up last week and thought it was fine, but then
I thought it was fine too. But once it hits that world, you're done. And all his previous indiscretions come back, and then you follow it up with a dud. It's just gonna snowball.
Okay, I'll do it. All right, look, we got Kentucky at South Carolina, Notre Dame at Arkansas.
That's it's at 11 a.m.
The Fighting
Notre Dame
MVG
is unwatchable.
It's at noon, Craig. Shut up. The Fighting MVGs of Utah State and are at Vanderbilt. LSU at Ole Miss. At Ole Miss.
But
Auburn at
A&M. You can't put LSU and Ole Miss at the same time as Georgia and Alabama. I almost forgot Alabama. But yet you're putting LSU and Ole Miss and Auburn and Texas A&M both at 2:30.
Yes, of course.
Yeah,
Auburn's not even ranked. Tennessee and Mississippi State at 4:15. Sneaky.
See that middle quad box. See, but that's the thing. One of those games
can ring against UT.
All right, you ready?
You're ready.
Yep.
Hail State's going 5-0.
No way. That was a bomb. Okay, that's a preview of next week's I Was Wrong. Hey, Rhyming, you were here a minute ago, and we you asked about that segment with Joy. It's always pre-recorded, and then we reflect on how we were wrong. Next week, I may need to clip this segment. So if you're back with us next week, anybody in the chat box over there or anybody watching, just remember, if you hear this, Hail State's going 5-0, don't be alarmed. You have not tuned into the wrong week. It's just me replaying something Craig said so we can say how wrong he is. Okay, I will say it. I'm more excited for LSU and Ole Miss than I am for Georgia, Alabama. I said what I said. It's a better and more meaningful game in 2025. Shout out to our friend Casey, from the producer, esteemed, notable, hilarious producer of the Message Board Genius podcast. Shout out to the MBG pod. Shout out to MBG himself for providing us with so many great tweets and boards to discuss and look at the passion of the fandom in the SEC each and every week. Shout out to Dailey Joy.
Shout out to Arch.
Always on the move. SECpretty.com to get your hats. She's moving from campus to campus. Of course, big shouts to my boy Craig McMichael, and not a shout out to Arch. I'm Rob Williams. He's Craig McMichael, and this is SEC Sunday Night live on the Chief Sports Network. And we will be back with you next Sunday night.